So we're looking at this. So you can clearly see all the skid marks, the brake marks there. When you come on this corner, what's your preferred way of approaching this?
I would stay out wide.
Uh-huh.
So I would stay out here a little bit more towards the candy pane, the rumble strips, like what we like to call it. And then a lot of racetracks still have cones. If you look right there, there'll be 2 cones.
So that's not random. Those are very specific.
Yes, those are there for a reason. Those are usually our apexes.
And what does that mean?
An apex is where you turn into the corner. So for an example, right? If you were to turn in, say at the beginning of this apex right here, you would run wide because you're turning in too fast. You know, you turned in too early and you're gonna run out of racetrack. So usually corners like this where they're a longer left-hander or long right-hander, you're going to be turning in a lot later. You will kind of get the general idea of just looking at the track, because like you mentioned earlier, you know, you got skid marks going off the track, you know, way out here and stuff like that. You could kind of
everywhere.
Yeah, you could kind of see the race line. You could kind of see how
you see them coming out here too.
Yeah, you could kind of
all the way out here on this side.
You can kind of see how the right side of the track is a lot lighter. It's a lot more gray.
Yeah.
But the left side of the track, you know, towards the rumble strips, is a lot darker.
Yeah. So most people prefer riding in that one.
That is considered the race line, the fast line.
Yeah.
And even, you know, going into the corner, this side of the track is going to be a lot more beat up. This side of the track is going to be a lot bumpier because, you know, it's not just motorcycles that ride here. There's cars that come out here that do their own race events, their own track days. There's bikes, there's Formula cars. They have drift events out here. So these tracks, they're shared with all kinds of vehicles out here as well. So you will kind of see the pavement, the track surface, it'll be a little chewed up in some places. And when we get to turn 2 over there, you will see that it's very chewed up and it's very bumpy once we get to that corner.
So this right here probably, this is the fastest corner because you're coming from a straightaway then? Or you're braking quite a bit?
You're braking quite a bit to enter this corner because there's such a long straightaway. You're carrying so much speed to this corner where you're going to have to brake a lot harder. Once we get to that side of the track, there will be a very, very fast corner where we don't brake at all and we just hold it pinned all the way through. And the candy pane over here, this is also what they call the rumble strips. So this is pretty much the track limits right here.
You said rumble strips.
Rumble strips, yes. You could run out here if you have the skill to.
This is definitely a little more slick, huh?
It's a little bit more slippery. So this is covered with paint. Early in the morning, it's going to be a lot colder, and paint doesn't heat up as fast as the concrete. So depending on where you are, what track you're at, you got to be careful when you're racing and when you're on the track, because like I mentioned earlier, the concrete, it will heat up a lot faster in the morning than the paint. There's a lot of times when racers come out and they hit the paint super early in the morning and they crash because their tire isn't hot enough yet. The paint here isn't hot enough yet, and it's a little bit more slick than actual concrete. But once the rumble strips start to heat up a little bit, then they're just as grippy as the concrete.
So this weekend, we're supposed to have rain, aren't we? Maybe?
There might be a slight chance of rain tomorrow, yes.
Okay.
Crossing our fingers it doesn't rain.
If it rains, do you guys still race?
Not at this organization, though.
Oh, I see.
This organization, AFM, we do not race in the rain. But a lot of the professional races that I do, yes, we do race in the rain.
So how different is it in rain then?
It's a lot different. The whole setup of the bike changes.
Change your tires, I'm assuming?
The tires are changed. We have specific race tires for the rain. They're called rain tires. And they have a lot of tread. If you remember the slicks that was on my bike right now, there was no tread. Same thing like a car, you know, your car is gonna have tread to cut water when there's water on the track, water on the road. And I don't think we have a rain tire here because we don't race in the rain here anyway. So we didn't bring a rain tire out here.
Interesting. So when you're racing in rain, how different is it? I mean, are you just pretty much, do you find yourself a lot slower in the rain, or are you pretty much close?
You're a lot slower in the rain.
A lot slower.
There is you'll be actually surprised of how fast motorcycles are actually able, to go in the rain.
Yeah.
But no, the speed is nowhere going to be as close as when it's dry. You do got to be a lot more careful in the rain, and your riding style as a racer is going to change. You can't be as aggressive on the bike as when it's dry.
Because I see when you guys are cornering, you're pretty much maybe an inch off the ground or on the ground sometimes.
Like, when it's when we're cornering, we're just we're being super rough. We're just throwing the bike down left, right. We're getting on the gas super hard. But when it's wet, same thing like if you're driving on the road, when it's wet and it's raining super hard and there's pedals everywhere, you're gonna be driving a little bit slower. Same thing as the track, because motorcycles only have two wheels.
Yeah.
There's only so much you could do on a motorcycle before it falls over. Here, turn 2, this is a very interesting corner. Here,
So it's almost like a 180 almost.
yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much a U right here, and it goes uphill a little bit.
Yeah.
And this corner is very interesting because this corner has this concrete patch right here that no one likes. No one here.
Is there a reason why it's here?
Cars.
Oh,
The
cars.
cars, the cars come here. They're heavy. They have a lot of torque, so it just over time it messes up the concrete. If you look closely at the track, there's parts of the track here that is not as smooth as out here, because this is the line that all the racers, all the cars, all the bikes are
I
going.
can definitely tell it's a little smoother up there.
And back to what I was talking about earlier about the paint, there's actually a lot of riders out here that run over this concrete patch right here, and they end up crashing in the mornings, or when it's wet and it's cold out.
Yeah.
Because this concrete patch right here, it doesn't heat up as fast as the actual pavement.
Yeah. Would you rather ride on the rumble track over there, or this concrete?
I usually stay around.
So you're
I'm
completely
usually about
around.
right here where I am. But as it starts to heat up, as the sun starts to get higher, then I'll run over the concrete patch.
So, ideal riding conditions on a bike, what temperature would you say that is?
I would say right now.
Right now, like
how it
70?
is right now, yeah, 70s. Once you get into 80, 90, 100 degrees, the track starts to get very slippery and very oily. And our tires, same with the tires, they start to get very oily as well. Our tires, when they get super hot, they start to flex a lot more because they're very, very soft tires. So when they flex a lot more, it's going to be harder to transition the bike. It's going to be harder to ride the bike. And the temperature right now, 70s, low 80s, I would say it's the ideal temperature right now, because it's not too hot or it's too cold.
Yeah. So, how fast have you registered yourself going on your bike at this track? Top speed?
Top speed? I wouldn't say this track is a top speed track, because there's a lot more tracks out there, longer straightaways. I believe I hit 130 here on my bike.
Yeah.
Around the low 130s. I think it was about a 135